Okay, hello everybody. This is the Dungeon Guru, and if you're joining me for this second installment, then thank you so much for coming back. If this is your first time here, then it might behoove you to watch the first episode so you kind of know what's going on. But if you decide that you don't want to do that, you know, I, that's fine. Doesn't really hurt me. We are beginning the second phase of the game, kind of the second broad phase. So in the first phase, right, there was a kickoff event. We fought the lion. I glossed over a little bit of the story, which is a bit of an egregious error in this game. But I wanted to mainly focus on gameplay and try and hook people with the gameplay. A lot of the story is kind of self-emergent, and you kind of make it up. You know, it's a lot about the feeling and kind of like the events that transpire uh, across the table. So we're just gonna let it be for right now. Um, and we're gonna get into this. So if you recall, we stopped exactly after gaining endeavors and updating the timeline. The last thing I did was update our timeline for year one, hereby extinguishing a lantern horde, or a lantern from the lantern horde, which you don't know what it is yet because it's a bit of a sequencing thing here, but that's okay. So we're going to, now that we've done that, we're going to draw the settlement event the first day. And settlement events are something that occur, essentially on every round. We draw a random settlement event, and it will help to inform and influence our settlement. And we've named our settlement Stormwind. And let's go get our settlement event cards now. They are here in the box. Now I have them, and we're going to get our camera correct. We're going to set these right here. And I need to get, don't look at these. I need to get just this one, and this is where we are going to start. First day settlement event will help you set up your settlement. It is the first event of any new campaign. The survivors wander, drawn to a blooming light in the distance. They find the serene comfort of a towering pile of lanterns and a small collection of scared people. On a deep, instinctual level, they know this area is safe and they make it their home. We roll a d10 to determine the starting population and record the result on the back of the settlement record sheet. Choose and record genders for unnamed survivors. You may name an unnamed survivor and create their survival record sheet at any time during the settlement phase. And now we're going to grab a dice and we're going to roll it, and we're going to really hope to roll like a 7. A 2. I always get the fewest. I always get the fewest, but it's okay. So we're going to have 6 unnamed survivors plus our returning survivors, of which everyone lived. That doesn't always happen. So we're going to have 10 survivors total. So we're going to come here, we're going to update this to 10, and we are going to name our survivors. So we have Arthas. Arthas is a man. We have uh, Uther. Uther's a man. We have Tyrande, a female, and we have Valera, who's also a female. And now we're going to have Jaina, who's a female. We're going to have Elune, who's a female. We're going to have uh, Maev, who's a female. And we're also going to have, let's see, we need some male names. Medivh. I think I spelled that right. Have Medivh. We can have there's another character that I like. Oh, wow, Magni. That's a good one. And let's have Anduins. You get the bad rap, I think. Okay, so we're going to return the settlement, return to the settlement selection for the first story and proceed with returning survivors. First day of campaign will not be used again. Okay, so once we do that, we pretty much take it, we drag it over here, and we forget about it. We won't ever need that again, unless of course we lose our settlement. In which case we'll start over and we'll do this again, and then we will need it actually. Okay, so here we're going to come to returning survivors, and this, just to kind of keep it complete a little bit, right? This is, so we have our settlement event, and then we have kind of like our story events. And so we're currently resolving the returning survivors story event. So we're going to come here. We nominate a survivor to utter the first words. The nominated survivor steps forward and gains 1 courage. They lead the other survivors in learning to speak to one another. They discuss their situation, realizing that they must hunt to live. Add the white line to the query list on the settlement record sheet. Your settlement gains the language innovation. Search the innovation cards for the language and put it into play face up. Record it on your settlement sheet. Language is your first innovation and sparks the creation of the innovation deck. So this is us. That's Uther. And we found this, towering pile of stone faces and lanterns. And so when we polish off a lantern year, right, what's happening is, a single one of these lanterns is being extinguished, and that's for tracking time. So now, Uther is our the person who uttered the first words, and so Uther is going to gain 1 courage. And we need to create the language. Well, we get language, and then we need to create the innovation deck. So innovation is kind of like societal thing. Whoa. Oh, I can do that. Oh, it's already there. I didn't know I could do that, actually. But innovation is kind of like our society, kind of. And it's it it's a really important part of the game. So you start out with just language, and you need to develop other things. So I think Hovel, Inner Lantern, Paint, Shrine, Symposium, Consequence. This is probably the better way to do it, huh? And no, that's bloodletting. I feel like you're. Yeah. No. Okay. Oh, flips on. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, oh my. Oh my. Okay. Hovel. Okay. Oh, well, unselected some, I think. Okay. Well, what did we end up with? Ammonia, Hovel, Inner Lantern, Paint, Symposium. I'm missing 1. Drums. Ammonia, Hovel, Inner Lantern, Paint, Symposium. I miss drums. I always miss drums. That's not drums. Okay. Drums. Drums. There we are. Okay. Because I feel like I don't usually get drums. Okay, so we're going to pick these up. We're going to flip it over. We're going to give it a shuffle. And it goes right. I'm not going to keep it there. I'm going to keep it right here, because I will probably flip this over to make it into the hunt board, but that's not important right now. Okay, so we have built our innovation deck, and now we're going to we gather around its glowing center, which is kind of like our locations. So I'm going to grab the Lantern Horde, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab this. And I'm going to grab this. Because I just know that we're going to need all these. Okay. So we have our lantern horde here. We have our bonesmith, organ grinder, and our skinnery. They're not lined up, and that will perpetually annoy me, but it's fine. Okay. Now, I know that I'm going to spend 3 of these endeavor thingies to create the bonesmith, the skinnery, and the organ grinder. So we had 4 because 4 survivors came back, and I'm going to spend 1 to create the bonesmith, 1 to create the skinnery, and 1 to create the organ grinder. Now you'll see that there are also other things I could do with these. I could innovate, right? Which is to spend 1 endeavor, 1 bone, 1 organ, 1 hide. And if you're not sure what that means, it's these resources here, right? And that would allow me to draw 2 of the innovations from the deck and choose 1 to add to our settlement. So that's kind of like expanding your tech tree. And what I'm doing here is actually just I'm giving myself the option to make more of these locations. And I just feel like this is a good move. Now, maybe there is something to be said for the fact that I perhaps don't need the bonesmith because I have 1 bone. But we will cross that bridge at another time. For right now, I do want to look at what I can do. And what I can do is use some of these hides to create some armor for my survivors so that we have a little bit easier of a time going into the next fight. And I have 1 bone, which is probably going to be used to make a bone blade. Because I think I do need I need a weapon, right? And then other than that, I just have organs. Oh, when I gain this, a random survivor gains. Okay, so let's see. That's my order. So I'm gonna just say it was like this. So furthest do so that would be Uther gains an insanity. Okay. Okay. So about the resources. So what I'm looking at here is essentially I can create these gear, like this gear with the requisite resource here, right? Now I can't create these obviously because I don't have drums or ammonia. They're still in the innovation deck. So in that way, there's things that while I may have the resources, I have not yet had the innovation to know how to make it, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab the little gear cards and we're going to grab Skinnery. We're going to grab, I'm going to pull these out one at a time because I don't trust that the game will do it. We're going to grab the organ grinder. Oh, we're going to put that back. We're going to grab the bonesmith. Okay. And we're going to come here. Bonesmith. Going to go right there. Organ grinder. Come on. Wait. Did I just get... Yeah. Okay. Organ grinder. There we go. And Skinnery. There we go. Okay. So if I look through these, you can see that there is gear, right? And so we have a lot of hide. We don't have a lot of a lot of bones to make weapons, but we have a lot of hide and we can make some gear and kind of hopefully protect ourselves a little bit. So what is this going to look like? I can convert this shimmering mane into 2 hide resources, which I'll probably do, right? So I'm going to say we have 6 hides. Yeah, 6 hides. And with 6 hides, I can make the chest, the pants, the hat, the gloves, and okay, well, and the boots as soon as I get them. The boots, and that will have been 5. Okay, so I have 1 left. I have 1 left, and I can't. I could make the bandages, or I could make another piece of gear. Man, having 1 bone is just so not great. Really quite unfortunate. Just not my favorite. I am going to spend this bone, and I'm going to just take the bone blade. Bone blade has 2 strength. That's, you know, it's not very different. And you know what? I think just to completely, I'm going to take the bandages. So this is my gear. I spent all of these resources, so let me pick this up. And okay, I'm gonna flip that, and I'm gonna put this back. And let me pick up this, and this, and this, and this. These are all White Lion resources. And I'm gonna put that whole stack back. And this is what I have left. I haven't applied the gear to anybody. I'm just kind of thinking about what I'm gonna do here. I have a single endeavor left, and there's a couple things I can do with it. I could use shared experience, but I can't really actually because we don't have anybody with 2 more hunt experience than anybody else. Because at most, my survivors have 1 hunt experience from the very first fight, and everybody else has 0. So I can't really do that. I could, I, I can't endeavor actually because I don't have a hide. That does beg the question, maybe the bandages are not required, and maybe I do endeavor. Oh, well, I don't have the bone. So, take it all back. I take it all back. Bandages were clearly the best choice, and I knew it all along. Yep, so I can't do that, and I can't do this. So that leaves me with augury and stone noses. Now, stone noses are interesting because it just gives you survival and insanity. It's not really the worst thing. Augury can give you a couple different things, right? It can give you understanding at the cost of a resource. It can give you survival most often, and it can sometimes, rarely, trigger intimacy, which is the way that you create more population so that when survivors die and you're losing population, you have a way to refill the settlement itself. This would also trigger trigger kind of like the there's inside the innovation deck, like the really big one, this one. There's principles which apply to your society, and they're for things like how do you treat your young? What do you do with your dead? You know, how does your society function? Things like that. And so these are big questions that shape kind of the whole arc of the settlement and your campaign. And usually one of the first ones that you get is either figuring out what you're going to do with your dead or how you treat your kids. Now, I also have optionally this thing here called Love Juice, and this would let me trigger intimacy immediately. And I'm thinking that's probably going to happen. So I think I'm going to do that. And so let me just, yep. So I'm going to, I think I can just get to, don't look at this. This is all stuff you're not supposed to see. You can look at the cool art, you know, you can look at the art, but don't look at anything else. Look at the art. Don't look. Okay, intimacy. Here we are. Okay. Nominate one consenting male and one consenting female survivor and roll on the intimacy table below. Now, the intimacy table, as you'll notice, has some bad options here, right? Like both people leave, the mother perishes in childbirth, the male gains insanity and a disorder. So it's not always great. It's a little scary. So one of these people are gonna miss the next hunt. It's gonna be Arthas. Arthas is gonna miss the next hunt. Valera's got this weird rage holic. So I think I'm gonna pick Valera and Arthas. They're going to be our two consenting adults. I'm going to summon a dice from off the side of the camera and I'm gonna roll it. And it's a 7. Okay, so the settlement gains 1 population and the male and female survivors share a deep bond and gain 10 survival each. And if I had the bed, then the new savior would have 1 permanent strength. I do not. I love this art. So they don't get that, but Valera and Arthas do in fact gain 10 survival. Now my survival max for the settlement is only 2, which I got an additional 1 from language. So the max they can go up to is 2. So the rest is just kind of honestly a little wasted. Okay. Alrighty. And now we're going to do the principal new life. So we're going to go to contents and we're going to click here and principal new life. Okay, so now we're going to choose, right, how to raise our young without mercy or with affection. Toys are taken from the child and replaced with the cold stone-faced shard. Training begins immediately. The settlement gains new life principle, survival of the fittest. Find and place the card on the settlement board and note it in the settlement record sheet. After adding the card to the settlement, roll a d10. Then we get these, and then we get these. So, and then with affection, I'm sorry, the settlement embraces the child with warm arms. Nurturing new life is their highest calling. We gain protect the young, find it, and add it. Okay, so it would be important also for us to make this choice to be able to see what impact this will have on our society. And so protect the young is when rolling on the intimacy story event, roll twice and pick 1 result. So when I roll here, oh, when I roll on the intimacy table, which is gone now, I'm much more likely to not suffer the worst outcomes where, like both the parents wander off into the night and I'm actually -2 population then. So that's very nice. However, the other one, survival of the fittest, here, this one's very good. This one increases our survival limit. But when rolling on the intimacy table, roll twice and take the lower result. So it's the opposite. And then all current and newborn survivors gain +1 strength and +1 evasion. That is quite good. And once in a lifetime, a survivor may re-roll a single roll result, and they must keep the new one. This is really good. Survival of the fittest is, I believe, what most people take because they think it's just mechanically better. And I would agree that it probably is mechanically better. I am gonna take Protect the Young, hopefully because I think there's less people taking this, and so, we can see what this is gonna be like. This could be a fun new thing. Okay, so we have Protect the Young. So we're going to raise them with affection, and now we summon a dice, and we're going to roll it. Oh, it was almost an 8, and it's a 2. So the settlement gather stage gain +1 or +2 survival and +1 permanent evasion. Okay. So Arthas gains +1 permanent evasion. He gains 2 survival, but he's capped because he just had a baby. And then I gain +1 evasion on Valeera. Okay. All right, not bad. Not bad, honestly. Valeera could go on the next hunt too, so okay. All right. That's fine. So let's go to the contents again. And I think I've already done that. So let's see. I just want to come to I think it's here. Just trying to get back to the kind of main thing so that we can stay on track a little bit. Let's see. Oh, okay. And do 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 do. I think I clicked too far. Oh yeah. Okay, here we are. All right. Yep. Okay. So we're currently we're developing right now. Okay. So, yep. All right. Okay, so we're pretty much there. I do have this one guy left. I think I'm going to take Stone Noses. I don't normally take this, but it's fine. And then I'm going to so we did use the love juice. And so I'm going to just put this, add the golden whiskers. Okay. Got the golden whiskers, got the monster organ. I just do it that way because I think it's easier, to be honest. We're going to pick that up. We're going to do that. We're going to shuffle. We're going to shuffle. Okay. Cool. So, all right. Now we need to set our gear and set our survivors. Now, Mr. Arthas just had a baby. He's on PTO. Valeera, unfortunately, is probably not going to get maternity leave. You know, we need her out there. We're going to give this bone blade maybe to Tyrande. She threw her thing, so so probably I'm gonna give it to her just so that she has something. All right, and I need a new record sheet, huh? And we're going to unassign the sheet and unassign the survivor. And so, who are we gonna take out with us? Oh, and we added a child. I didn't even add the child. I got a little called up. Who were the fathers? Arthas and Tyrande? Ooh, that's a weird pair. We'll go. No. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Fill it in there. Yeah, so we need to see who is this gonna be. I don't think it really matters. But I did sub out Arthas. So yeah, maybe it's gonna be Illidan, maybe it's gonna be who's gonna wear my gear? Who's gonna wear my rawhide? I might swap the character. Let's see. Yeah, so nobody really has like anything spectacular, to be honest. I think you're the only one who has anything with the evasion and rage holic. Evasion's not bad though. Yeah. All right. I think I want to try and have one survival. We're gonna just say this is Illidan Masculine. Okay. So Illidan's gonna get the noses. So he gains 1 survival and 1 insanity at the start of the showdown. Essentially, I want to try and have every hero be at 2 survival. If possible. But I'm kind of debating about whether or not I want... Alright, I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to swap. We're going to do this. Uther's going to die during the hunt, because that's how this always works. Take this. I'm going to put all the gear onto Uther. That's going to give him 1 evasion from his gear. I'm gonna grab a couple tokens. I'm gonna take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I'll just grab these for right now. And I'm just gonna kind of put them like here-ish. Okay, just so if I need one, I can get it. And we're gonna give you +1 evasion. I'm gonna put it right there. Okay. All right, and since you're wearing all that, here's another little aspect of the game. Settlement phase is kind of the longest the first couple times you do it, but it gets faster, I promise. Okay, settlement or armor sets. Just set it down. Let's kind of get the rawhide set. Okay. Okay, so if you have the full rawhide set, then you get an additional 1 to all hit locations. And then whenever I do a survival action, I roll a d10, and on the result of a 6+, I gain 1 survival. So there's a chance for me to retain survival that I would otherwise spend. Okay, and so that's going to mean that all of these locations are now 2, and that makes me much tankier. So Uther is unsurprisingly going to be our tank, and I'm going to put the bone blade on. I guess I'll just leave it on Uther. Okay. And I'm going to unassign the survivor. So I'm going to come and I'm going to grab that away, and then I'm going to come and I'm going to put this. So now this is Uther, and it'll, that's exactly what he's got on. He's got all the rawhide gear, and he's got his little bone sword. Looks just like Uther. Okay. So let me grab him. Let me grab him. Let me grab him. Let me grab him. Put these over there, just in case. Let's grab all our dice. Go up there. Grab all of these. They go up there. Grab this guy. That can go there. You can go right there. Whee! Okay. So, yep. 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 And I spent that making... Sometimes those are hard to put down. Okay. I think we're almost ready to go. And so I'm going to stop here, because this is essentially right before the hunt phase. So you'll see that we have finished developing, we have crafted new gear, we've done everything that we wanted to do, got our new life principle, we didn't do this actually, but we will go over the innovations, we talked about them a little bit, and now we prepared all of our survivors for the hunt. We got their gear grids in order. We removed all of their light injuries. We established what weapons and whatnot they're going to have. And you archive and record all the resources. We did that. And then end of the beginning. Clean up the clay area. The play session is over. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. And so now you can see kind of where we were here. Well, we started here, right? And then we went to the settlement phase, and now we're about to go into the hunt phase, which is how we will actually get to encounter the monster. So we're going to go to contents, showdown, white lion, and this is the white lion. That's pretty cool. Okay. And here's a little bit of blurb about it. There once was a beast that wanted to feel how soft its fur was. Since it could not reach its own back, it killed many other creatures and spent time rubbing its paws over them. They say that when the creature finally killed a human, it fell in love with their soft hair, and its paws grew into a pair of fine human hands. So you may or may not have noticed that the lion does have like finger hands. Yeah, and that's why. So, interesting stuff. There's a lot more to the white lion, but that's where we are going to stop for now. And in the next video, we will hunt and pursue the lion. Hopefully, hopefully, we will survive that hunt. All of our survivors will survive that hunt, and we will engage the lion and begin another showdown where we will fight it again for more resources and for the food to sustain our settlement. And that will be the core gameplay loop of this Kingdom Kingdom Death Monster. So, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope I will see you in the next video. We are going to do the hunt. The hunt is a cool, like, little kind of intermediary little thing. I'll give you a little preview here. This is the hunt board, and we'll set the line up here, and we'll put out random events here, and we'll be kind of pursuing and dealing with those random events as we get to the lion. But you'll have to wait till next time for that. Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining me, and this has been the Dungeon Guru. Stay safe out there.